Merrick Garland is running scared after Pam Bondi and Senator John Kennedy team up to investigate whether this man belongs in jail. You guys have got to check this out.
Senator Cruz would be next, but he's not here, so I call on Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, welcome. Congratulations. Can we agree that legitimacy is important to America's criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
Can we agree that legitimacy is important to the Department of Justice, which in part administers our criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
And if Americans come to believe that our criminal justice system or our Department of Justice is acting illegitimately, that makes Americans less likely to accept the results of that system, does it not?
Yes, Senator.
And that makes Americans less likely to follow the substantive laws that we pass that are administered by the Department of Justice. Isn't that true?
Yes, Senator.
And if that happens, we have chaos, don't we?
Chaos.
And the social contract is breached, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember a person by the name of Michael Avenatti?
Yes.
Several years ago, he was a media star here in Washington.
An attorney, correct?
Yes. He was a media star. And many members of our media loved him because he persistently bashed Donald Trump. And he was on TV every day. He was on CNN more than Wolf Blitzer. Do you know where Mr. Avenatti is today?
I believe he's sitting in prison, Senator.
He's in jail because he was a crook. And the Department of Justice helped put him there, didn't it?
Yes, Senator.
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yes, Senator.
Boy genius. So smart and so powerful that he thought he could command the tides. So smart and so powerful and so rich that he would go to meetings with serious people like Bill Clinton, like Tony Blair, looking like a slob, looking like a fourth runner-up to a John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute. Where's Mr. Bankman-Fried today?
I believe he is in prison, and I believe that's from the Netflix series I saw as well.
Mm-hmm. Because he's a crook. And who helped put him there?
The Department of Justice, Senator.
Can we agree that there's some really, really good men and women at the Department of Justice?
Many, many great men and women in the Justice Department, as well, Senator, as all the law enforcement agencies that fall within the Department of Justice. They're out there risking their lives, especially the law enforcement officers, every single day.
If you ask the average American, what do they think of the FBI as a whole? 40% of Americans have a favorable view of the FBI. That is pitiful. More than half the country does not think that the FBI is worth keeping around. They think that they are corrupt, crooked, and they think that they are partisan hacks, essentially another arm of the Democratic Party. But the thing is, that is their view of the people who run the FBI. The people doing the day-to-day operations of the FBI, these are good, hardworking, patriotic Americans. It's not their fault that their bosses are inherently corrupt. Americans view the FBI very similarly to the military, because the military has a lot of strong, capable people, but they just have the General Millies of the world pushing propaganda. So it's the people who run these organizations who are truly the problem. And if these institutions adopted correct leadership, people who actually abided by the Constitution and did the right thing, then faith in these governmental institutions would skyrocket overnight.
There have been, and may be today, some bad people at the Department of Justice.
Yes, Senator.
We don't know for sure because for the last 4 years, the curtains there have been tightly drawn. But I think a minority of people there, have delegitimized America's criminal justice system. The most destabilizing act that I saw in the past 4 years, maybe in the history of the department, is when Attorney General Garland decided on the basis of dubious facts and untested legal theories to criminally prosecute a former president of the United States. And not only that, this is the special part. He decided to do it after the former president of the United States had announced that he was going to run against Attorney General Garland's boss, didn't he?
Senator, are you referring to going after a political opponent?
I think so. Now, this is one person's opinion. That kind of stupid takes a plan. And I say that because, number one, this is America. That had never happened before in America. That's the sort of thing that happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. It doesn't happen here. And I call it stupid because it broke the seal. It broke the seal. It normalized it. There are a lot of ambitious prosecutors in America, Democrat and Republican. And I'll bet you right now there's some prosecutor in a particular state thinking about, well, maybe I ought to file criminal charges against President Biden's inner circle for conspiring to conceal his mental decline. And that's the road we're headed down. And you've got to fix it, Counselor. You've got to fix it. And here's, in my judgment, what I would ask you to do. Find out who the bad guys are and the bad women and get rid of them. Find out who the good people are and lift them up. But do it on the basis of facts and evidence and fairness. Because the temptation of some people is going to be, they're going to tell you, look, two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even. Don't resist that temptation.
It goes back to the old saying, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Donald Trump is not here in this second term to politically attack his enemies. He's not here for that. He wants to uplift America. He doesn't want us going back into the past. But then again, you do have to uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. If you did end up breaking the law, you should be held accountable. You should not be exempt from getting charges thrown against you just because you were a previous opponent of Donald Trump. After Trump's first term, he could have went after Hillary Clinton. He could have assigned a special prosecutor to go after her, but he chose not to because he wanted to unite this country. But then what did they do once he stepped out of office? They went after him with everything that they have. That's why all these bad actors who were complicit or went along with the prosecution of Donald Trump should be held accountable. Because if not, The moment that Trump leaves office, it's all going to happen once more. We need to learn from our history. Some people just want to watch this country burn. They're not here for the prosperity of all Americans. They're just focused on enriching themselves at the expense of the American taxpayer. So Trump and Pam Bondi need to go after any person in Washington, D.C. who is working against the American people. What Merrick Garland did to Donald Trump was utterly despicable, and it set a horrible precedent that has never before been seen in America. Attacking your political enemy just because they pose a threat. If Donald Trump decided to sit on a beach in Cancun drinking pina coladas, he would have never been a threat, and thus Garland would have never done anything about it. But it was the fact that Donald Trump kept getting up. Every time they knocked him down, he kept standing up and fighting for us, the American people. That's what infuriated these people, and they said, you know what, we have to teach this man a lesson. Let's lock him up for the rest of his life, which is exactly what would have happened if he had lost this election. I am fully convinced of that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Do you think that Trump and Pam Bondi should go scorched earth and attack all these corrupt politicians? Or do you think they should let bygones be bygones and just let it all go? Let me know. I'd love to know your opinions. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.